Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to unpack the absolute critical process of rescuing your Georgia LLC from administrative dissolution. Look, whether you're a seasoned business owner or you're managing your very first startup, maintaining your legal standing is the bedrock of your company's survival. Reinstating your LLC isn't just about paperwork, it's about protecting your business interests and avoiding some really nasty legal repercussions. So we're going to walk you through exactly what it takes to get your business back on track and fully compliant in the state of Georgia.
So picture this. You go to pay a vendor, maybe run your weekly payroll, or finally sign that major new client contract you've been working on, and suddenly you're stopped completely in your tracks. A frozen bank account, a stalled contract, or a canceled insurance policy, those are often the jarring first signs that the state of Georgia has administratively dissolved your LLC. You probably won't even get a warning call. Literally, one day you're operating normally, and the next, your business is effectively legally paralyzed.
But hey, don't panic. We are going to guide you from that moment of panic straight back to legal protection. Here is how we'll break it down today. First, we'll look at the LLC dissolution trap. Then we'll cover the pre-reinstatement prep work, followed by the step-by-step reinstatement process, how to navigate common roadblocks and challenges, and finally, how to future-proof your Georgia LLC.
Okay, let's jump right into Section 1, the LLC dissolution trap.
So, what is administrative dissolution? It's basically a state-initiated enforcement mechanism, and it usually happens for highly preventable reasons. For instance, if you just missed that April 1st annual registration deadline, or maybe your business lacks a registered agent for 60 consecutive days, the state can and absolutely will dissolve your LLC. And the consequences? They're severe. When you lose your active status, banks will frequently freeze corporate accounts and just cut off your lines of credit. But the absolute most dangerous consequence is what legal experts call piercing the corporate veil. This effectively strips away your limited liability protection. That means your personal assets, like your house or your life savings, can suddenly be exposed to business debts and lawsuits.
And the clock starts ticking immediately. Once you're dissolved, you face a strict 5-year statutory window to reinstate your business before it becomes permanently legally defunct. No exceptions. If you miss this 5-year window, you can't revive the entity under any circumstances. You literally have to start from scratch. New business, new EIN, and absolutely no established credit history.
All right, moving on to Section 2, pre-reinstatement prep work.
Before you rush off to file any forms, there's some essential prep work you gotta knock out to make sure things go smoothly. Taking these steps prevents your application from being instantly rejected. You need to gather your specific business control number from the Secretary of State's database, verify your business name availability, confirm who your current registered agent is, and most importantly, get a totally clean slate regarding any missed reports and taxes. Seriously, you cannot reinstate an LLC if you still owe the state money or are missing paperwork.
Let's look at a practical example of how things can go wrong if you're not careful. Because your business name is not permanently protected while you're dissolved, you have to use the Contains filter on the Georgia Business Name Search tool. This is absolutely crucial to accurately verify that no one else has claimed your LLC's name. If you use the Starts With filter, you might search for Sunrise and completely miss an already existing business named The Sunrise Cleaning LLC. Using Contains reveals all those tricky variations. Georgia requires all LLC names to be entirely unique and distinguishable, so you don't want to skip this.
Beyond checking your name, you've got to address the financial side of things. You must resolve all outstanding liabilities. We're talking state, corporate income taxes, sales and use taxes, employee withholding taxes, the whole shebang through the Georgia Tax Center. The state will not approve your reinstatement otherwise. You can prove you're squared away with the Department of Revenue by requesting a tax clearance letter right through their online portal.
Let's move to Section 3, the step-by-step reinstatement process.
Now that your documents are gathered and taxes are cleared, you're ready to actually initiate the filing. Fortunately, Georgia has centralized all of this into their online e-core portal. You'll just head over to the Georgia Secretary of State's website, enter that control number you found earlier, fill out the application for reinstatement following administrative dissolution, and submit your payment. You can file by mail, but honestly, filing online is highly recommended if you want to avoid lengthy paperwork delays. When submitted correctly, most online reinstatements are processed within just 3 to 5 business days.
Now, let's talk about the actual costs, because there's a ton of misinformation floating around out there. While third-party sites are always listing conflicting prices, the official state cost is pretty straightforward. It's a $250 base fee, a $10 mandatory state surcharge, plus $50 for every single year of annual registration you missed. So, if you file online, expect to pay a baseline of $260 plus those $50 yearly penalties.
Which brings us to Section 4,
navigating roadblocks and challenges.
Even with the best preparation, you might hit some legal roadblocks, but thankfully, the law has some built-in mechanisms to help you out. One of the absolute best protections in Georgia corporate law is something called retroactive continuity, or the relation-back doctrine. Once your reinstatement is officially approved, it acts like a legal time machine. The state treats your reinstated LLC as if that administrative dissolution never even happened. This automatically validates any contracts you signed during your dissolution and completely restores your personal liability shield, seamlessly closing that risky gap in your business's legal history.
But I have to warn you, it isn't a perfect time machine. If another business steals your name while you're dissolved, just like our Sunrise Cleaning example from earlier, or if you miss that 5-year statutory window entirely, you are going to be forced to file articles of amendment and completely rebrand. Think about that. You'd have to notify the IRS, update your EIN, and renegotiate literally all your bank and vendor contracts under a brand new name. It's a massive administrative nightmare you really want to avoid.
Also, what happens if the state rejects your application because of some discrepancy? Well, the Secretary of State will send you a written notice of denial. And from the exact day you receive that notice, you have a rigid 30-day window to file a formal judicial appeal. If you let that 30-day window slip by, your options become severely limited.
Let's wrap up with our final section, future-proofing your Georgia LLC.
Okay, so you've successfully navigated this entire process and regained your good standing. Now, you need to make sure this crisis never, ever repeats itself. Here's what legal experts advise for long-term compliance. First, set strict recurring calendar alerts for the annual filing window that runs from January 1st to April 1st every year. Second, if your business address or your registered agent ever changes, immediately file an amended registration. It's only a $30 fee. And finally, maintain constant communication with your registered agent. They are the ones receiving all your official state notices, so you can't afford to lose touch with them.
Now, here's a really fantastic insider tip. You should absolutely be utilizing Georgia's multi-year prepayment option. You can actually prepay your $60 annual registration for up to 3 consecutive years in one single E-Corp filing. That covers your current year plus a 2-year prepayment allowance. While it doesn't offer a financial discount, it dramatically lowers your risk of missing a deadline because you can essentially just set it and forget it for 36 months at a time. It's a real game changer.
So, I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought. Is your LLC truly protected right now? Or are you just a single missed April 1st deadline away from dissolution? Don't wait for your bank account to freeze to find out. I highly encourage you to audit your compliance today. Ensure your registrations are current, your fees are paid, and your registered agent is actively in place so you can actually initiate any necessary reinstatement processes right away. And please remember, while this explainer gives you a comprehensive overview, every single business situation is unique. You should definitely consult with a legal professional or an experienced accountant for personalized advice to ensure everything you do adheres to the absolute latest laws and regulations. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and here's to keeping your business safe, secure, and completely compliant.